Hi, I'm Sebi, and these are my parents, Brad and Lori Gilmore. I am here to interview them about Ducks in a Row. Here we go. What sparked your interest in wanting to write a book about the Courtyard Ducks?
Oh, that's easy. I was at a PTO meeting, and I think you were in 5th grade at the time, Seb. And Mrs. Johnson in kindergarten, the kindergarten teacher, was leading the tour, and she's telling us about all the great things of the courtyard, and she mentioned the ducks. And I was surprised. It was the first time I had heard about the ducks. And now you're in your 5th year there, 6th year there actually. And I just thought it was the best story and the most interesting story. And I thought, how come a children's book hasn't been written about this? And I came home and I told your father all about the ducks and all about the courtyard. And his reaction was,
I was just as excited and enthusiastic as you were. And also for all these 6 years, Sebi, we had walked by the courtyard and really didn't know what was going on out there. We just didn't have a sense of how big and important and special this courtyard was. And when we heard about the ducks, we immediately thought to ourselves, if we do a book about this, it's going to bring so much attention to the courtyard and there's going to be just so much interest around it. Mm-hmm. We knew we had to do this book.
And since Daddy's a writer and I'm an illustrator, we thought we could, as a team, make this happen.
And we were going into winter, so we needed a good winter project for the weekends.
All right.
And that's what it turned out to be.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take to write and illustrate the book? What was the timeline?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I can take that one, at least start out. Doing any project like this is going to take a lot of organization, and Lori's very organized. I can put together a stream of thoughts, but I want to tell you, it was harder than we thought it would be. So it took a long time, and we gave ourselves a timeline, a strict timeline. In the first couple of weeks, we wanted to say, this is what the story is about. Then we wanted to put an outline together to sort of say, and this is the path that the story is going to take. And then once we did that, then we could figure out, okay, this is what's going to be on each page. And it really just sort of came to life, almost like one page at a time. But in the scheme of things, we had to figure out the whole story from start to finish.
So that's where I came in, and I drew tiny little sketches of what maybe that story could be. And so I sketched that out with just pencil on paper, and we talked about, well, what could how could this story come to life? The other part of our timeline was the ducks.
That's right.
We wanted the book to be ready to be read when the ducks came back to the courtyard to build their nest. So what was great is Mother Nature was our deadline. So we knew the ducks came back in March and April. So from there, we backed out our timeline and we figured, well, I can draw maybe 5 pictures over 2 weeks' time. And so we started this process in November 1st. And by March 1st, we had pretty much 90% of the book done.
It took us 5 months. So it really was a big period of time that we spent working on it.
Yes.
Did Sebi help you with the book?
Did you help us with the book?
You're Sebi, okay. Did you ever help us? My goodness. Go ahead.
Well, one way you helped me, Seb, was I needed to draw a picture of a boy, because that was part of our storyline. And I used Sebi as the model for one of the pictures in the book. And as you can see, he was a great model.
Yes.
And what's great as an artist to have a live model is you can really get an idea of proportions of where the eyes line up with the nose and the ear and the mouth. And so having you as my live model was very helpful especially for that one picture.
And I used Sebi regularly because this book is written for everybody at Eisenhower from kindergarten up through 6th grade. So I used Sebi as an editor. He would look at all that I had written up to that day, and he would give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down or make a suggestion here and there, what should be in the book and what shouldn't be in the book. And if Sebi said, I don't like it, I just cut it out. If Sebi said he liked it, thumbs up, I moved on to the next idea, right? Yep.
One more important thing that Sebi did to help with this book is he was given an iPad and an iPencil for his birthday. Big special gift that he was excited to have. And immediately I asked to borrow it. And so the entire book was illustrated on an iPad. And if Sebi didn't let me use his iPad for a while there, almost every day, and he basically shared his gift with me for those 5 months, even after just receiving it. So thank you, Sebi, for letting me borrow your iPad to make it happen.
Is this the first book you have ever written and illustrated?
It's definitely the first book I've ever written.
And same with me. I've always loved children's books, illustrations, and I've collected them over the years, but I never thought I'd be drawing a children's book myself. And, it was one of those things that I was excited to do, but I just didn't think I could do it at first. And we kind of were like, how do we get started? How do we do this? Can we even do it? Will it even happen? And what we realized is you just have to start.
You just have to start. You just have to start.
Day by day,
Yep.
Just keep at it. And there was days when maybe a week would go by and I hadn't touched a drawing. And every time I went to sit down to draw another drawing, that little voice in my head would say, you're not good enough, or you can't do this. And, that was probably the hardest part of doing my first book, is just telling myself, I can do this, and keep at it, and keep trying. And before you know it, you've finished the book.
But there was one thing that was super motivating, and that was when you were a little guy, we used to read to you like endlessly, and you loved the children's books. You just loved being read to, so much so that you started memorizing the stories. And there were maybe a half a dozen books that you just loved. And so one of the cool challenges was thinking to ourselves, how can we create a book that other kids might love as much as you loved your books? So that was just such a cool thing to be motivated by.
You're an inspiration. Thank you.
Yes.
Is there any other questions?
Do you plan to write and illustrate more books in the future?
We hope so.
We hope so.
We had a lot of fun doing it, Stephanie, and it's very satisfying. So we hope so.
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Well, thank you for having us today, Seb, and kids. Thanks for the questions, and
we hope you enjoyed Ducks in a Row. Here we go.
we hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.